Hey, welcome back to the Good Morning Ortiz radio show. Time to talk some Bulldog baseball, and Coach J.J. Ortiz joins us here in the studio. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Hey, you figured out a way to get a home game before the season wraps up, didn't you?
Yes, sir. Yeah, Lovington called me, I guess it was Saturday night at probably like 10 o'clock.
Wow.
Well, he actually texted me, and he said, we need to move our game on Tuesday. And I text back and said, we're not moving the game. I said, we play Goddard on Friday, a makeup game, and so I don't want to move the game.
Yeah, and selection, the seating and selection is this weekend, so there's not a lot of window there.
Yeah, and all games have to be completed by 5 o'clock on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, try to figure out something else to do. And then he texted back and said he really didn't have any options. And so I told him, we have a really good umpire crew here. Call them and get them to travel down to Lovington. And so he called we have a signer for the umps, and so he called him, and he texted me. He said, hey, I can't get those guys over here. And I said, well, move the game back.
Yeah,
later,
yeah.
Because it's hot anyways.
Mm-hmm.
And so the Lovington coach called me, and I said, just move the game back. And then he said, well, why don't we play it in Artesia then?
Mm-hmm.
I said, sounds like a plan.
Yeah. It didn't take too long to think about that option. So,
yeah.
So instead of being in Lovington tonight, it's in Artesia at 5 o'clock this afternoon. So
yes, sir.
That's not a bad thing. You get one more regular season doubleheader, a couple more games here for the fans to come out and watch, and
yep.
And so not a bad set of circumstances there, because like you said, you've got Goddard coming up on Friday, and that can't, unless it rains like crazy on Friday night and it has to get pushed to Saturday, that thing's going to happen
right
on Friday. So you didn't have much wiggle room, and as far as they had a little more wiggle room because this is their last district action, but
yes,
you really couldn't move it because you were talking about this before, the way that you have to watch the pitching and the number of innings that a pitcher pitches or the number of pitchers that a pitcher throws. Mm-hmm. The NMAA has some overall rules as far as that's concerned.
Yeah, and I started thinking about that too. And, you always think, I guess, of the different scenarios and why they want to move the game or what's really happening. And then you start thinking about pitching,
Yeah.
do they maybe they want to move it because of pitching, because they had to play a Thursday game and then turn around and play Saturday. They had to make up a game with Lovington on Thursday and then play Lovington again on Saturday.
Portales.
I mean, Lovington had to play Portales on Thursday and then another game on Saturday.
So they're probably out of arms.
So I was like, we set this schedule, and we want to keep those games that way. And when we set the schedule, we set up how we're going to set up our rotation with pitchers, and so that's I didn't want to change any of that. So
yeah. Now, for folks that don't know and aren't watching, looks like after Friday night you lost all your hair.
Right, I know. It's all gone.
It's all gone.
Yes, sir.
That was an interesting set of games with Goddard. Both are really good teams, pretty evenly matched. Bulldogs had a lead going into the seventh inning, and both of those were maybe not
games.
But both games had a lead, and give Goddard credit, they were able to come back and win those games in extra innings. That has to be really frustrating.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we talk about it all year, and when we make some mistakes in games, and the next day we go over them and we say, hey, we did this and this happened. And depending on the team, some teams take advantage of it. And the better teams usually take advantage of mistakes. And we're one of those better teams that take advantage of other people's mistakes. And when we make mistakes and play against a good team, they're going to take advantage of it. And we've seen that in some of our earlier games, and so in the games against Goddard, it happened to us. That we made some mistakes in that. The first game we're up 2-1, and we have 2 outs, 2 strikes on the batter. And to their credit, they just get a little hit into outfield, and we just didn't make the right play in that situation to prevent them from scoring that run.
Right.
And they took advantage of it. Where we should, in that situation, throw it home to prevent them from going home. We throw it to second, and that coach sent him home. And so that took advantage of that. And then the second game, we're up 5-1 going into the 7th, and our pitcher, Cody Watson, which had an awesome day, really good on the mound. He was at 99 pitches, and that's he hasn't thrown that many pitches this year. And so I gave him first couple batters. They got some we gave up a walk, which you don't want to give up a walk in the 7th inning. You want to make them earn it. So we gave up a walk, then they bunted a guy over, got him to second. And then they had some couple hits, and then they had score a run, then they get another guy in second, and I said, you know what, I'm going to bring someone else in, try to stop the bleeding, stop the momentum, and a lot of confidence in all our pitchers that I put up there, and they took the momentum, we couldn't get it back, and we made some more mistakes for them to tie the game. Instead of hitting our cut, we overthrow our cut, and they score a run that they weren't even trying to score on. He was stopping at third, and we overthrew it. So the coach said, "Oh, go in."
Go in, yeah.
So then they tied the game, and then we had a couple more walks, and then they just kind of took the momentum. And then you think about pitching after that. You're like, hey. We got to save some arms, and then we scored another run in the bottom of the 8th, but couldn't get any more, and so kind of how baseball goes sometimes.
It does.
You don't want it to happen that way, and our kids, no one wants to ever lose. No one's ever trying to lose, and we're trying to win, and the kids are playing. They're working hard out there. They're doing everything they can, and sometimes it just happens. Yeah.
Well, the good news is you have 4 games left, and Goddard has 4 games left because I think they're playing Portales.
Yes, sir.
In Portales tonight. And you've played Portales a couple of times. Are they got and they're in the same situation that Lovington is in that they played 4 games.
Right.
Thursday and Saturday, so they may be a little short on arms too.
Yeah, we're hoping for Portales to take 2 from Goddard.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. But I think they have their, I think Portales has the best shot at beating Goddard in out of the other 2 teams with Lovington. I think Portales does have it. They have a couple good arms, and we saw 2 of them when we were up there in Portales, and one held us to 0 until the end of that game. And so I think if they have him available, they'll have a really good chance of competing with Goddard. And so we got to come out and take care of business. This first game. With Lovington at 5 and focus on that game, and then take care of that game, and then worry about the next game. And then when we play Goddard Friday, I think after seeing those games, both teams know how good each other are and expect to see some really good to end the season games. So
because both teams look pretty pretty fairly matched or evenly matched, and they got some bats, and you got some bats, and they got a couple of pretty good pitchers, and you got a couple of pretty good pitchers, and it's just kind of execution comes down to execution.
Yeah, and frustrating. We had more hits than them in both games, and our Josh Madrid had 10 strikeouts in that first game.
Yeah.
So we did a lot of good things, and that's what we talk about the things we need to improve every game, and then we highlight the things we did good. And we don't dwell on the things we did wrong, and we say, hey, we're gonna better from it. We're gonna learn from it. We're not gonna repeat those mistakes, and that, we've done that all year. We've got better. One game we missed a couple pop-ups in the infield. So we have this machine, an awesome machine. It's called the Fungo Man, and it has a little. It's kind of like a tablet that you can control, and it shoots it wherever you want it. And so we caught a lot of pop flies off the Fungo Man. And so, the next game we played Carlsbad after that, and we caught a lot of pop flies. And I said, hey, every time we're going to catch a pop fly, I'm going to yell, Fungo Man strikes again. And so every game after that, every time we have pop fly, every game I say, hey, Fungo Man strikes again. and so the kids, it's probably annoys them, but I have fun with it. And so, we got better from that. And I told the guys after our games against Goddard, we're going to get better from all this, and we're going to be a better team. And so yesterday at practice, we highlighted the good things, and let's go forward. Let's not worry about that. And with baseball too, it's a game of failure. You could go 0 for 4, and the next game 4 for 4, and how do you respond? And really been happy with how our guys have responded all year.
Well, nobody in the history of baseball has ever batted 1,000.
Right.
But you want to get hits in the right situation, or you want to move runners over if you're not going to get a hit. I mean, all the situational things that happen in sports and or in baseball, and make an error, that doesn't end the game right there. You have a chance for a super play on the next opportunity that comes up. So you got to keep working on the next play, the next situation.
Yes, sir. And we talked a lot about a strikeout. If you strike out, and a lot of these guys, they see a lot of professionals, they strike out. They're throwing stuff, and I told them the only time you should be mad after a strikeout is your senior year, your last at bat, then you can be mad.
Yeah.
I said, but other than that, you need to realize what the pitcher was trying to do, how you can be better at your next at bat, and then go forward.
Yeah.
I said, because if you worry about each at bat, then it's going to eat you alive.
Yeah.
And baseball, it'll eat you alive, and you'll think about that, and it'll ruin your day at the plate, and so don't let it do that to you. Yeah.
No, that's a bad thing. I know you're focused one game at a time and so forth, but I do want to talk to you a little bit. The NMAA is going to take 8 teams.
Yes, sir.
Ortiz and Goddard are both in the top 8 on the max preps, but just how good is the max preps going to be at predicting things given the limited number of games? Although in baseball you've had to play, you will have played around 20 games.
Yes, sir.
Which is a lot better than they had for some of the other sports earlier this year.
Yeah, we were ranked 4 and then 5 for a lot of the season, and now we'll probably be around 6 or 7 with Goddard moving up. But another thing looking at that is our strength of schedule. With us playing, we played Alamogordo, Clovis, Hobbs, Carlsbad. The only other team out of our district that are not a bigger school than us was Valencia. And so we do that for a reason. We want to play the best teams and to get us ready for our district and then to play state. But it also helps us in rankings. A lot of when they look at those rankings, they have a strength of schedule, and ours is one of the, it's up there. And so then you see some of the other teams that have a negative strength of schedule. Mm-hmm. So they're playing a lot of smaller schools, and the schools that they're playing aren't doing good in their district, and they haven't won a lot of games. But they have a winning record, but their strength of schedule is so bad that they're ranked a lot lower than us. So looking at 9 through 20, whatever, there's not a lot of teams that have a winning record, and if they do, they have a low strength of schedule. And so with us, we're sitting at 10-5. We have a high strength of schedule. It's up there with top teams, and we played some of the better teams in the state. And so I think that's going to help us, hopefully get, however it plays out,
right.
Give us a spot in the playoffs.
The only game you missed was was it the Valencia?
Yeah, the second game.
They were supposed to play a doubleheader, and they wound up just getting the one game in. Otherwise, you'd be at 20.
Yes, sir.
At 20 games, and that's a testament to you and the coaches and the administration, everybody working hard through this COVID situation to not miss any games. All the things that everybody has done to make sure these games get in.
Yeah, and Goddard's kind of in the same boat. They played Roswell like 4 or 5 times. I don't know. They played Roswell.
That was their first 4 games were against Roswell.
And then they played Clovis, I believe, and they played Carlsbad, and so.
And they split with Carlsbad.
Right.
So.
And they've played the tougher teams too. So I think you got to consider that when you're looking at the playoffs, and 2019 Goddard beat us 2 out of 3 games. They ended up getting the 2 seed, and we got the 3 seed. And so I think we have some respect with everyone throughout the state, and they know that both our programs always put out a good team, and we played tougher schedule because of that. And so I think that's going to help us in the long run.
Yeah.
And so, at the end of the day, we got to take care of business, and we got to win games to put ourselves in the playoffs. And so, but I have a good feeling. And another thing is, no one wants to play us.
Yeah.
With us playing that type of schedule, and no one wants to see us in the playoffs. And so, it'll all work out.
Yeah. Well, you got 2 tonight. You got to get past Lovington, and can't look past Lovington, and got to play them tonight. And then folks, it's a home game, so one more time to get to come out to Brainerd Ballpark regular season and watch these kids play. So let's hope we have a nice crowd out there tonight.
Yes, sir. We have the nicest facilities and great stands, and the Hobbs coach called me a couple weeks ago. He said, "Hey, can you do me a favor and take a picture of your stands for me?" I'm trying to talk this Hobbs High School into help me out with some better stands, and I really like the way yours is set up. And so, we're so blessed to have the facilities that we have, and so another opportunity to see a great team in a great stadium, and it's going to be a good night. So we hope to see a lot of people there.
Hobbs has a nice complex, but I don't know where they're going to put more stands, because they're backed up to the softball fields and the JV baseball fields.
Yeah, I think he's trying to go up higher to get more stands. And a lot of people like our nets. You know how our nets protect our fans.
Yeah.
And so,
well, they're a lot better than when I first moved to town, and because the ones that were originally there were so rusty that most of the time they stopped the balls coming back. Sometimes, though, they'd come right through that fence.
Oh, no.
And then for a couple of years there, they had it was almost like a softball field chain link backstop, and it was silver, and it just was blinding in it. Then they went to this netting system that they have now, and it's proven to be pretty beneficial.
Yeah. So nice.
Yeah, so that's great. Well, a lot of people look at our facilities and try to get some ideas from how they do that. I think the concept of a press box behind home plate must be kind of foreign to Roswell, because they don't have one. They built a new baseball field at the high school for Roswell High. It doesn't even have a press box either. And I wondered, did they sit there and actually think, well, Goddard doesn't have one, so Roswell's not going to have one?
Right.
I don't know. I hadn't talked to them, and we know the new superintendent up there, so maybe that'll change. But 5 o'clock for the first pitch for Game 1 tonight, Lovington, and then you go to Roswell on Friday night to play Goddard starting at 4:30. And good luck in all the games, and we'll be there to cover them.
All right, thank you.
All right, thanks, Coach J.J. Ortiz. Let's see what Jared's dug up for you in the newsroom, and we'll be